Welcome back to Forest Farm. Today we're going to be building a compost heap out of red pine. First of all, we've got to go find some. Well, we would be, except we can't start it. Motor motor's gone on it. Right, let's try that again. Probably wondering why there's this neat stack of logs here. It's because the harvester came through and we took one of every 4 rows of red pine out just to give the red pine that's left more room, and then it'll get a bigger girth, healthier tree. These ones I went into the bush because you can usually just let them go back into the soil, but these I knew I'd need for posts and for things like compost heaps. So that's why they're all here, and that's why they're all stacked up. I figured out I need 20 of these, including the top. The top's really good because it keeps animals out, mainly jelly beans. The wonderful thing about red pine is it's such a soft wood, and all of this bark becomes mulch, and eventually this will end up being compost as well. And while it is, before it is, it's attracting all kinds of slugs and worms that the toads are going to feast on. It really is organic. There's no materials, there's no preservatives in any of this wood, which is exactly what you want, because with an organic garden you can't use any pesticides or herbicides or anything like that. So this is a win-win stuff. It's beautiful, it's really nice. It's just over a year old now and it's nice and hard and ready to be used. Love it. Yeah, 7 days of rain, honestly, it hasn't stopped. I was going to build a bloody ark, forget about a compost heap. Anyway, it's over there. I've got to bring it over here. Haven't even been able to walk on the soil because of the seeds. So ground's firmed up enough now, off to work. So I'm pretty happy with the location, I'm happy with the size. You want it to be about 1 cubic meter, 4x4, 3x3, whatever, to give the compost a chance to decompose and actually have enough material for it to be useful. I've put it right next to the bed. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to aerate the bottom of the compost heap, and that will allow the worms to come up and allow drainage into the ground. I've done a lot of reading on lap joints, saddle joints for joinery with pine. It's such a nice soft material to work with. I'm not going to do any of that because it takes too bloody long, and I might want to add to this, move it and not have to be able to put it back in the same spot again. I have notches all over it. So this I found is a really good mobile unit way of working. That's what I'm going to do, and then I'll fill in the spaces between with some boards that I have. But you want to allow a lot of air to be flowing through these structures. Stripping off some of the bark, I'm lining the bottom of the compost heap with the bark because I know that worms are really attracted to this as it breaks down. I want this to be the dinner bell. Ding, 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 ding. They're all going to come up through the bottom of that, the bottom of the compost heap. That's the plan. So making these stakes is going to stop the compost heap rolling around a bit. I'm going to char the ends so that this doesn't rot too quickly. The good thing about what I'm using, specifically the boards, they're not pressure treated. If you put pressure treated in your compost heap, you've got a poison compost heap, so it's useless. Same with borders for herbs. So I'm going to put some chicken wire, line the inside. It does keep things like rats out and skunks from nesting. Compost that's made with animal products, when it's actually composted down, it attracts more pests. So if you can keep it as vegetarian as possible, vegan, all the better. No smells, cleaner, and not attracting animals around your garden that you don't want. We're just going to put this in, and then I'm going to use some board, the hemlock board, just a short offcuts, just to maybe put a few screws into the thing, tighten the structure up a bit, and make sure that the wire isn't pushed out of the way by animals. So yeah, this is just an off cut that I saved. I save everything because you never know when you're going to need it. So here we are, the compost heap is ready to put the magic in. The magic consists of dry stuff, brown stuff, anything, dead leaves, sticks at the bottom, and then on top of that you can add your greens, and that can be anything from weeds, preferably not with seeds, or your compost, tea bags, coffee grounds, all of those things. But you want to go 2 of these to 1 of these, so always 2 browns to 1 green, and it just, the balance is it doesn't get too stinky and sticky like when you put too much grass in, too many grass clippings. You wait a week and everything's yucky and slimy. This stops that from happening, but it also, this is the carbon and this is the nitrogen, so this is where the magic happens. Just spread out and then add that nitrogen and let it start to do its magic. Next thing I'm going to do is add all the chicken bedding from the chicks. That's all going in, and then there'll be more. I'm going to go into the meadow and cut some old grasses down and put them in there as well, and then leave it for 8 to 10 months, and then we'll have this beautiful hummus, or rather humus, because hummus is something the Greeks put on bread and ovens and stuff. Hummus. Look at that, that's lovely, that is. Comes out of a chicken's bum. Most of it. Might be some jelly poo in there too and all. One last thing before we put the top on, which will keep jelly bean out and other critters. Going to water it. It's important to water your compost heap probably at least once a week. Soak it up really good, and then just keep adding the green stuff to it as you use it. A couple of inches, 3 or 4 inches of green, 4 inches of brown, 3 inches of green. here it is, nice and solid, nice and functional. You can spend a lot of time prettying these things up, making them look really beautiful. I could spend more time with a chainsaw squaring it off. I could put some plywood on top to keep too much rain out of it, somewhere to sit and have a cup of tea. You can mess with them for a long time, but at the end of the day it's going to be natural, it's going to be part of the environment, it's going to go back into the environment. I hope you found something inspiring. Maybe you can build yours out of wood. I just recommend you don't buy one from a big box store that's made out of plastic. We have far too much of that in the environment as it is. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, then like and subscribe.